it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with All American Season 4, Episode 17, called Hate Me Now. What a freaking phenomenal episode, as usual, with All American. Guys, I really enjoyed this episode, mainly because I was really looking forward to the dynamic of seeing how Asher, I guess the issue between Asher and Spencer, and how Asher has this chance to really impress Coach Montez, because Coach Montez asked Asher to do a background check on Spencer and the whole team that they're going to be going against, because they're going against Spencer's team for a homecoming game. And he pretty much is asking Asher, because Asher, of course, has the connection, not only playing with Spencer before, but also living with Spencer and also living with Jordan. And, so he gets, the 2-in-1, not just looking in on Spencer, but looking in on Jordan, looking in on the team, and looking in on, how Coach Marcus, coaches the team and all that stuff, but mainly, how they operate over there, because they know that Spencer's getting a lot of shine, because how we start off this episode is that, Spencer is killing it in practice, killing it and all this stuff. At least I think it was practice, not games or anything. But he's really killing it right now. He's really getting that attention that he's been wanting for even doing special teams. And yeah, so he's doing special teams, as we all know, but he's getting a lot of the shine right now. And, we start off this episode, he is doing an interview with Wade Waters, and, Wade Waters is giving, Spencer a compliment, saying, he makes me look good out there, you know what I mean? And I guess Spencer gives him another compliment back, saying, because everybody, mind you, is looking at Spencer in the locker room, along with, he's on live television. So, of course, even though he doesn't like Wade Waters, of course, in a way, he respects him enough to be like, okay, you're my teammate, you know what I mean? In a way, we both make each other look good, and you gave me a compliment, I have to give you a compliment. So, of course, he's gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm working with one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, and, in college right now. And, of course, Jordan took that personally, because, as we all know, Spencer has been getting on Jordan, of course, about Wade Waters, saying he walks all over you. Where's your confidence? I mean, it wasn't just Layla that's, pointed that out to Jordan. Spencer has, saying, why are you letting Wade Waters, walk all over you like that? And, because Spencer's tried doing it the right way, where he didn't need to be somebody's groupie, trying to, get his, carve his own path into actually, getting the attention that he's getting now by him being in special teams, which is very hard to do when you're on special teams, but, Spencer is doing it for how, for how much he's, putting in the work, and, how much he's shining there. And, Jordan's really struggling right now, because he pretty much, after, he threatened, Wade Waters, I'm going to take your position in last week's episode. It's right now, a lot of the teammates, and, he's really struggling to even get on the board, to even, get any time to go on the field, I guess, right now, after he, threatened to go after Wade Waters, position and stuff. So it's kind of in a way that, it's a reverse, almost, in a way where it's kind of how Spencer was having trouble before, trying to, carve his path, try to, him to get some on-field time. It's now, now it's hard for Jordan right now to even, get field time or anything, because of the threat he made to Wade Waters, saying, I'm coming after your position because of, how good I am, because he got finally the confidence that he's been wanting, that he's been lacking, because of the conversation that him and Layla had. But it's he's upset at Spencer because Spencer gave him a compliment. Mind you, Spencer is on live television right now, and Wade Waters gives him a compliment. And in a way, when you have a good quarterback, it compliments you as a good player, but also when you're a good wide receiver, it compliments the quarterback. So in a way, it's I understand, in a way, Jordan has no, in a way, he's kind of overreacting, and also it doesn't even, it's not really he's mad at Spencer about that. He has a conversation with Layla, and Layla's no, I feel it's just because, you're lacking the, the confidence of knowing how good you are, and you know what I mean, you need people to tell you how good you are when you just need to know how good you are. And I loved that storyline between Layla and Jordan, because we see them go on a road trip, because there's a moment where Jordan really isn't talking to anybody after the whole argument he has with Spencer about oh, you know what I mean, you were against Wade Waters, now you're giving him the compliments, telling him he's one of the best college quarterbacks out there, when he's you're saying he's better than me, blah 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 blah, when it's all about how Jordan's feeling about himself, and he's just projecting that onto Spencer, making it sound Spencer, he's making it sound oh, I know I'm good, but I want people to say I'm good, when in all seriousness, that's not how it is. It's that Jordan is lacking to think how good he is, but he needs people to tell him how good he is and validate it. So it's he's starting an argument with Spencer for no reason, because Spencer's just being a good team player and giving Wade Waters a nice compliment back, because again, you complement each other. When you have a good quarterback throwing to a good receiver, it complements each other, because when it works both ways. When you have a good quarterback, it helps. The quarterback looks good by him making the throw to the wide receiver, and the receiver makes the quarterback look good for catching the ball and getting a touchdown. So it's like they were just giving each other compliments. It was nothing more than that. And of course, he goes on this, finds out what Layla's doing in this episode. Layla is actually trying to figure out from last week's episode when Jordan kind of convinced Layla to try, to go actually talk to Carrie so she can, Layla can close that book and so she can move on, so she can get closure. Because we know Carrie got closure in a way because Carrie texted Layla saying, I'm going to leave you alone. Oh, I'm just want to say I'm sorry again. And again, Layla didn't answer to that text message that, that Carrie sent to her all that time ago, but she's finally answering now because, again, Jordan convinced her, you need closure too. I understand that, Carrie got closure, but you need closure so you can move on. So we see Layla, right in the Baker house trying to figure out how she was going to write a perfect speech or whatever, trying to, I don't want to just, pop up and it be awkward. I want to know what to say, so I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to actually, see, I'm just to see and know what I'm gonna say to her. I need to write it down and write out what I'm gonna say. And Jordan's this is your version of stalling. You know what I mean? One moment it'll be you got it, but the other moment it'll be another excuse. We just gotta go and you just gotta talk to her. So that was very interesting because right now Jordan is still upset at Spencer for giving Wade Waters a compliment, all because Jordan just needs validation and people to tell him how good he is. And even Layla says that on their way there because he just keeps going on and on about Spencer this, Spencer that, and she's like, no, I just think it's because you're lacking the confidence in yourself to know how good you are. You need people to tell you how good you are. So of course they have this one big thing where they need to wait for Carrie because she's not done with work yet. So they're out in this park and there's people playing flag football, it seems like. And at this point, Layla's trying to get, Jordan off the bench saying, look, you need to just, you need to have fun for a moment. You need to, I need to distract myself too, you know what I mean? So I'm not, just sitting here wondering what I'm going to say to Carrie, and I can just do it when she gets here. Let's have some fun. And also, this also benefits Jordan to know how good he is. And she's like, look, because, of course, Jordan ends up beating them, because this is just some normal, you know what I mean? Everybody gets together at the park to do a flag football, thing every once in a while, this flag football group, and he ends up beating them, of course. And I thought to myself, dude, you really need to stop bragging, because one, you are a college football player, and that's why you're beating them. Why are you making it sound like you're doing really good? Of course you're doing good, because you're better than just some everyday park getting together group that does flag football. I was and even he mentions that to Layla, saying Layla's like, oh, see how good you are out there? And he's like, of course, I was gonna beat them, Layla. I'm in college. You know what I mean? This was easy work for me. And of course, Layla didn't mean it like that. Oh, you know what I mean? These were a big challenge for you. Look how quickly you beat them. No, just you were having fun. You know what I mean? Look how good you beat them. Meaning, you know what I mean? She didn't mean anything by it. Oh, you know what I mean? You beat these people, because in a way he thought oh, you think that these guys were a challenge for me, and then what I'm going against now, you must think I'm bad too. But that's not what Layla meant. She's like, look, you know what I mean? You beat them easily. Same as the way you could beat anybody easily if you really wanted to, and you put your mind to it and you knew how good you were. But of course, Jordan takes it the wrong way, and it kind of stresses out Layla a little bit, and she ends up, getting upset when she ends up talking to Carrie, which is very sad, because Carrie, crazy Carrie actually is she's better now. She has a job now. She's back with her family, and she owes that all to Layla. And she even says that to Layla, because Layla goes on saying, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Says that, to Carrie, I'm sorry. I wasn't, I thought I was good enough. I couldn't save my mom. I couldn't save my boyfriend. I couldn't stop my boyfriend, from cheating on me. And you know what I mean? And I couldn't also, it's I'm not enough. I wasn't enough for you to, not that, I wasn't enough for even when I brought you into my house. I should, I introduced you to my friends. I wasn't even enough to make you even want to, to still live. And she's like, Layla, yeah, you were. I owe everything to you. I got the job because you connected me back with my family because of you helping me. You know what I mean? You pulled me off that ledge. You know what I mean? You saved me. You know what I mean? So don't undermine that. You're really, you know what I mean? Don't undermine how there are people here that love you, and don't make it sound like there are people that you can't, that people don't want to be you can't you know what I mean? That people don't want to be around you because that's not the case, or you can't make it people. You can't give people a reason to stay because you gave me a reason to live and to reevaluate my life, and you know what I mean, and get better. So it's like I loved that moment, and I also loved the moment because like while they were on the trip, they mention Jordan mentions how there's like a 17 again. Like I kind of like a picnic drive-in sort of situation. They're playing it at the park. 17 again, and of course, they have a moment where they sit there at the end of, after, Layla gets closure with Carrie, and right away, I thought to myself, damn, they're a really good couple, like, they like each other a lot, and I'm wondering when that's still gonna happen, because it looks like next week's episode is gonna be crazy, and I can't wait to talk about that, which I'll talk about that at the end, but I'm super excited. It looks like they're just a perfect match, Jordan and Layla, and I feel like we're seeing that more and more, the more scenes we get with them. We're realizing that they're a perfect match, and you know what I mean, and it makes me, and it goes to show that, like, I wanted Damon and Simone, but with everything going on in All American Homecoming right now, with my theories on like on other relationships that that Damon could have with somebody else, which I don't want to give any spoilers just in case, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like I don't know where that's gonna go in All American Homecoming, but I have a feeling I know where this is going. I feel like Jordan and Layla are definitely going to get together, and I'm excited because they have so much history with him remembering them, like Jordan remembering how Liv and how Layla all went to see 17 again. I think it was in his living room, and of course he ran to what is it, to Laura, to his mom, you know what I mean, because he was so sad about the story of 17 again. And it's kind of like, you know what I mean, it's like they know each other so well, and they balance each other out so well, and they're there for each other, and you know what I mean, it's like, you see how, like, the growth happening with our characters, that we're seeing that, relationships beyond high school, that you think they can survive sometimes, but when you're across and going into two different colleges, you're seeing how, like, this side of things where, like, you grow apart, you grow, and you end up finding out you're finding your actual partners that you're supposed to be set with for life. And we're seeing that play out as we speak. So I'm just loving how we're getting this dynamic between, Jordan going over to All American Homecoming, and then we're going to get Simone popping up in next week's episode of All American. Like, that's just insane to me that we're seeing these dynamics and seeing how this relationship is unfolding. And we're seeing how a new relationship is being built between Layla and Jordan. I'm just liking what we're getting. But, going with, again, back to how, this not only, the argument between Spencer and Jordan, but it's also the fact that Asher hears about that. And when Asher goes back to Coach Montez, Coach Montez gives, Asher an assignment, his first assignment, to really prove that he can be an assistant coach, or hell, even be a coach, by giving him a book, wanting him to, he wants Asher to look in on his rivals, because he's going to be going against, Spencer and Jordan's team for the homecoming game, or the homecoming weekend game, or whatever it was. And, right away, I was like, that's like inappropriate that he's asking Asher to do this, because Asher is friends with them, and they're going to give Asher personal information of, of stuff that should not be exploited in football. I do think that there is, a certain extent you should go as a coach, especially if you, like, if you're a friend, if you have a coach intern, like, if you have an internship to become a coach, and your coach asks you to get some information on friends that of the team that they're going to be going against, or your friends of the team that they're going to be going against, and they want you to get some information that has nothing to do with their physicality, and he wants you to give them, he wants you to give him information on how they are emotionally, or how they are, in their life and stuff, and what's going on in their life. I feel like that's going too far. And I don't like how they kind of made it sound like, oh, this is just has everything to do with publicity and stuff, because that's not the case. You can still hide stuff, you know what I mean? Like, your personal stuff, whether you're famous or not. You know what I mean? You can still, I just find that bullshit that Billy was trying to use that excuse when Spencer, like, confronted Billy about that. That really annoyed me. There's an extent where, like, your friend is giving information on like, really, you know what I mean, personal information of what's going on in your life that has nothing to do with your physicality or whatever, and they're trying to get, and he's asking, Coach Montez is asking for the emotional stuff that's going to get in Spencer's head and make them win the game. And if coaches, I know probably coaches do this shit, but I find that unacceptable. I feel like there's a limit on what you should be doing. And I think it mostly pays attention to physicality and what their weakness is there, not like, exploiting. I don't think it was cool for Asher to exploit or even take up he could have took up the offer, but not have exploited the personal conversations of what Jordan and Spencer were putting down. And that really annoyed me when you wrote those down, because we saw Spencer, what he wrote down about Spencer, but you know what I mean? What about what he wrote down about Jordan? And I feel like that's going to come to bite Asher in the ass at some point when Jordan finds out what he probably wrote about him. And we're going back to the rivalry where it's like, I do feel like Spencer is right for this. Him telling Asher after the conversation with, with Billy, saying, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, Billy's like, you need to be prepared for this. Asher's just doing what he needs to do because he wants to become a coach. And that's just the harsh truth of, you know what I mean? That there comes a, you know what I mean? Where, there comes a point where it's like, it's business, you know what I mean? It's that's how it is. But if that's how it is, I do think Asher should move out, or Spencer and Jordan should go somewhere else until this game is over, or hell, go somewhere else in general and not let Asher be there to give, Coach Montez information on, you know what I mean, on his friends, you know what I mean, exploiting their like personal, information. I just don't find that cool. So I understand when, Spencer's like, you know what I mean? Like when Asher's like, oh, okay, so, I was worried that how this was going to affect our friendship. He's like, yeah, it's definitely going to affect our friendship. I never said it wasn't going to affect our friendship. I said it's going to affect, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely going to affect, you know what I mean? I understand, you know what I mean? On like, you're just doing what you need to do, but it is definitely going to affect our friendship where I trusted you and you didn't have to give my personal information. You know what I mean? That there's a limit to what you should be doing as a coach, you know what I mean, for this assignment. You can do stuff, but not give them my personal information to try to exploit me and try to try to hurt me emotionally or do something, you know what I mean, and screw me up. I'm not going to let that happen, especially someone that's trying to do it behind my back while me and Jordan's head is buried in the sand. I'm not going to let you screw us over like that. You using our personal conversations that we're talking to you as a friend and using them behind our back to run to Coach Montez to make yourself look better and make yourself be able to be an assistant coach. That's unacceptable. I feel like there should be some lines you should not be crossing. You know what I mean? You can earn Coach Montez's respect by your knowledge of seeing people's, you know what I mean, of seeing like people's different physicalities and seeing what their weaknesses are physically, not mentally, on personal conversations with your friends. That's crossing a line. I just don't like how Billy was trying to make it sound like, oh, you know what I mean, you just have to get used to this because that's what coaches do and stuff, you know what I mean? You're on a whole different stage now. People are going to, learn stuff about you and try to get, dirt on you and try to know what your personal life is. Yeah, people that aren't Spencer's friends are going to try to do that. People that are in the reporting business, not his friends, are not people that he thought were his friends. So I do understand where Spencer's coming from in this, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to take him a minute probably to, understand what Asher is doing, even though I don't think Asher is right for what he's doing. But he's like, you need to keep your distance from me and Jordan, and we need to keep your distance from you and JJ, because we're not going to let you screw us over. And, well, you know what I mean? Well, what you think our heads are buried in the sand, and you screw us over by giving Coach Montez our personal information about how our lives are right now. So that was very harsh to see that conversation. But what really pissed me off the most was he's like, I hope you don't do that with me, because we're friends. And he's like, I really did. When Asher said that, I was like, dude, you're a piece of shit. I was like, Asher, you know what I mean, bro? Like, you could have done this a better way, but you did it the wrong way. And I don't think Billy should have told Asher, like, oh, you know what I mean, that's just business, you know what I mean? You need to find out if this is what you want to do or not, because this is the price you have to pay. This is the job, you know what I mean? Getting the information and stuff like that, you know what I mean? You can't always, you as a coach, you can't just, look at things from a physical standpoint. You need to look at things from a mental standpoint from your opponents. I'm like, bro, but you shouldn't be doing that to your friends. I understand it's business, but it's at least give them a warning of you if you were actually going to be doing that. And even then, you shouldn't be doing that. I mean, he kind of gave them a warning saying he was doing a background check on them, but it was at the point he was like, oh, you know what I mean, you're going to tell him, like, oh, how, I am physicality-wise and stuff like that. Now, not my personal, my personal conversations I've had with my friends, you're going to exploit to Coach Montez. I just don't find that acceptable. But I want to know how you guys feel about that down in the comments below. I know it's kind of like a sticky situation, but I do think Asher was in the wrong for what he did. But I understand that it is business in a way, but I feel like there's a line you should not cross, especially with your friends. Especially, like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's really shitty for you to do. I don't even think that's something Spencer would have done, giving out some personal conversation stuff. I think he would have looked at it physically wise, but I don't think he would have went to the whole mental thing and gave it to Coach Montez if he was in Asher's place. That's not Spencer's character, and I don't think he would be doing that. He would have found a better way to do it, but also to impress Coach Montez. But yeah, going on with Coop and how Coop gets a little bit jealous on how Sabine sends Patience some, roses and ends up calling up Sky to ask her out on a date. And, of course, he only did that because he was jealous of that. He thought that Sabine sent them, as like oh, you know what I mean? I like you flowers, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get with you flowers. But no, it was just like, oh, you know what I mean? Congratulations on your album, your album release flowers, you know what I mean? You're cool, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like friend flowers. But of course, Coop, didn't read into that to the point where, like, she thinks that there's something there, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, she's moving on. I'm going to move on. I'm going to make her jealous. Like, she's trying to make me jealous. So she ends up calling Sky. Only wants to take out Sky to, of course, make Patience jealous. Ends up taking Sky to Patience and Coop's, I guess, favorite food truck area. And that was really, I felt like that was kind of cut because the one dude knew Coop, of course, is a regular, but also asked, like, oh, so this is your regular Coop and also for Patience, even though Coop's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, told the dude, no, like, come on, bro. Meaning, like, this isn't Patience or whatever. And he's like, oh, sorry. And of course, Coop's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. And she's like, it's all good, Sky, because Sky wasn't jealous of the fact of that. But when Coop started saying, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, could you believe that, this person, Sabine, sent, sent, Patience flowers and stuff like that, acting like a jealous girlfriend, or acting like a jealous ex-girlfriend. And pretty much that's when that's when Sky knew that Coop only asked Sky out because of the fact of how Sabine gave Patience flowers, only trying to make Patience jealous because Sabine sent, to Patience flowers. So, of course, Coop is going to want to make Patience jealous, so that's the only reason. And that, I felt bad for Sky when she realized, is that the only reason why you asked me out is to make Patience jealous? It's like, come on, Coop, you should know better than that. And also, learn how to communicate. Like, can you guys please learn how to communicate? Because it's not what it looks like. Literally, like, I wish, I love when Patience, like, pretty much like, it's not what it looks like. You look too much into it. You're going to look really stupid when you find out because they have a conversation. Patience and Coop saying, oh, you're gonna look really stupid because of course, because Coop ends up walking in with a box, and then Patience is like, oh, first it was too much when you brought the girl in here trying to make me jealous. Of course, it had to have been Sky, but secondly, I learned to find out that you're taking her to our spot, and she's like, oh, well, I'm the only reason why I did that or whatever is because you're getting these I want to get with you roses from what she called her Chlorine, and she's like, her name's not Chlorine, it's Sabine, and she's like, well, at least I don't have a name that sounds like that you putting something in pool water. I was like, Coop had the best burns. I was literally crying, which is like, at least my name doesn't sound like they're putting something in pool water. I was like, damn, like that made me cry. I just love Coop's burns. And she called her Chlorine. I was like, damn, bro. And she's like, no. She's like, no, it's Sabine. And then she's like, look, they're friend roses. She's just congratulating me on my album release. And she's like, oh, and she's like, of course, we need to put some ground rules here. So, of course, Coop got her a funnel cake because that's what she instantly thought when she was there at their spot is, oh, you know what I mean, Patience likes funnel cake. And that was really nice that, they know each other so well and just instantly, Coop just off the bat, you know what I mean, just not even thinking, just got Patience funnel cake because that's what Coop usually did for Patience. So it's like, she's still stuck in that, I'm dating Patience mode where it's just second nature when she just got food for Patience. And of course they're jealous, I mean, and they were jealous back and forth, and they weren't really communicating to understand that, like, they didn't really, you know what I mean? I do think Coop, again, like Sky, but I do think, again, like I said, that Coop was definitely jealous of Sabine, clearly, as what we saw, and clearly Patience is jealous of Coop getting with Sky. So, of course, they still like each other, and I love how they have the conversation saying we need to have some ground rules if we're going to move on. She's like, I love how they're like, the Baker house is this is the one place we cannot bring people at all. Like, if we're going to start dating and stuff, other people. The other places, we're going to have to mark down different coffee shops that we can't be going to, especially food places or spots. We cannot be going there with our dates and stuff. That's just unacceptable. We're not doing it. And Coop's like, can I still go to my favorite place by myself? And she's like, of course you can. So I just love that they're kind of like making ground rules for each other, but I do think eventually they will get back together. I feel like that's just eventually what's going to happen, because I do think Patience and I do think Coop are perfect for each other. I do like them together a lot. Even though I am interested to see where the Sky and Coop relationship will go, because even like Coop goes to talk to Sky saying, oh, please, can you like give me, a second chance? Or give me a first chance, because I'm not that crazy Tulip, crazy ex-girlfriend, yelling about, or like rambling on about tulips. I'm not that jealous type. This is who I am. Let me show you who I am. Like, let me give you a new first impression of me. And and of course got her second date, or got her first date, I guess. And I'm interested to see where that relationship will go, because I don't know, I feel like it's something new, something fresh, so that way when we do get to the moment where like I feel like when Coop and Patience like reconnect, I feel like they're stronger in their relationship, and it feels like they can start over in a way. So I'm excited to see when they will get back together, because I feel like, again, they will. But I want to know down in the comments below, do you guys think Patience and Coop will get back together? But do you guys think that we'll see this whole Coop and Sky thing for a while before we see Patience and Coop to get back together? I feel like we're going to see Patience and Sky for a while, and I feel like then we'll get to Coop and Patience again. But I'm excited to see also, do you think that like Patience is going to put herself out there and start dating too? I'm curious. I wonder if she will, and I wonder if it will be with Sabine, even though Sabine said, back in the day, I would have kicked it with you, but I'm too busy, focusing on my music. So I'm wondering, is there a chance that maybe they will, she'll try asking Sabine out, or maybe there'll be something there. I don't know. But I'm just interested to see where this is all going to go. And also going back to like what I want to say about, because there's a lot of like arguments in this episode, but the main thing I really wanted to talk about is how like the whole dynamic between Spencer and Olivia, I guess Bolivia, which again, I love Spencer and Olivia. I think they're a great couple. I love how they always regroup, and I love how they always work out their relationship, even though they have hard times. They always find a way to travel through the storm together, and work through the storm and make their relationship work. That is just goals right there, when that so many things get thrown at them and they just keep weathering through the storm. And I love the conversation with when Olivia goes to Billy and to her dad and is like, look, like it's been off between me and Spencer. Has there ever been a time where like you were off with mom and stuff? He's like, of course there's been a lot of times, but you have to learn, if it's worth it, you have to weather through the storms, you have to make it work out. And it's like, that's exactly what Olivia and Spencer do, because, they're really out of sync in this episode. Between, they go on a picnic in this episode. Olivia gets, like, Spencer, like, a croissant. He's like, I can't eat it, I'm on a strict diet or whatever. And, of course, Spencer gets Olivia, like, I guess it's like some, like, type of coffee with, I guess, whole milk. And she's like, I don't drink whole milk anymore after my whole, the whole, like, I guess, paper article I made on there, like, an article I did at work. I drink, she said, like, I think, what was it, like, oat milk, which, I understand, because I stopped drinking milk probably back when I was a sophomore, and I actually started doing almond milk. Of course, I'll do oat milk occasionally, but, like, but I'm a big fan of almond milk. I hate the taste of milk. It's disgusting, in my personal opinion, especially after all the gross stuff that's in milk. I just can't do it. But, yeah, I'm literally understanding where she was coming from, but it was very awkward, and then they couldn't find out what to talk about on their picnic. They weren't going to talk about football or the paper, but that's exactly what they ended up wanting to talk about. That's at least what Olivia wanted to talk about with Spencer, talk about football. And, he initially wanted to talk about, it's like they had nothing to talk about except football or the paper. It's like they just couldn't find their footing again, because they've been so busy, and they've grown apart a little bit, and it's kind of like they need to weather through the storm. This is another trial that they're being put through to see if their relationship is worth it, see if their relationship is worth weathering through the storm. And this is what I just find beautiful, is that, we're really seeing their relationship grow and grow stronger, and grow to the point where, like, nothing will break it off. I did not like, though, the one moment where, like, Olivia, like, she was kind of hesitant on inviting Spencer to her work meeting, it seemed like, or her work gathering with her friends from work. And, like, she had this big kind of connection with this, I think his name was Ben or whatever. I think it was the same dude that went after her, like, took her article. When it's like, I'm shocked you wouldn't be friends with that ass after he took your article. But not only that, it's like, Spencer was learning things about Olivia that he didn't even know that she liked. Like, she liked jazz, apparently. They were talking about other different things. He's like, he just felt like he didn't even know her, it seemed like, because they've just been out of sync. So I understand, like, Spencer kind of felt out of place. And I feel like maybe that's why Olivia didn't really want him to come, because it would have felt awkward, especially previously, after the awkward picnic that they had, and the awkward kind of like non-talking or nonchalant when they were in the Baker house and they were kind of putting away the dishes after their picnic. So I understand maybe that's why she's like, I want to avoid the weirdness, because I don't want to like admit that this is a problem we're having right now, because, you know what I mean, that she just wants it to work so bad. And, you know what I mean, I'm just happy that they confronted that they are kind of like in a weird spot, that they're not in sync. And I'm happy that they're finally, that was really cute with Spencer. Dude, Spencer's a really cool dude. Like, he did some cool, cute shit at the end, you know what I mean? Like, he did, like, that's something I would do or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you mean some, like, cute thing to be like, oh, you mean if you're not in sync, that you would do the thing where it's like, oh, like, he does this thing for Olivia where he gets a pen and paper and asks Olivia, like, oh, what's your favorite color? What's your name? So it's kind of like he's up to date on every new thing that's going on in her life that he can catch up. That's just some cute shit, bro. Like, that's goals. Like, they're working their relationship out. That's what I want so bad in my next relationship. I just want somebody that, you know what I mean, that is willing to weather through the storms of whatever issues and always wants to talk and communicate. No toxic things. So that's why, you know what I mean, it's really cool what we're seeing with their relationship. I'm just loving it. I'm here for it. I'm still rooting for them. I hope they stay together. I hope nothing breaks them up. But I'm just excited, like I said, for next week's episode, because it looks like Simone is literally shooting in like a missile over to go see what's going on between Jordan and Layla. And I'm just excited, like a heat-seeking missile, trying to figure out what the hell's going on, because as we know, previously from All-American Homecoming, she even talked to, I think it was not on the one episode we had recently, but it was the one previously before that on the Jordan episode. If it was, maybe it was last week. I'm not quite sure. I think it was, where it's like, we have that conversation between, Simone and I think it was Keisha, and saying like, oh, I think there's something going on between our friends Layla and Jordan. I think there's something going on there. And it's like, there is, and it seems like, I don't know what's going to happen in tonight's episode of All-American Homecoming that's going to want to make her go see Jordan. I'm thinking it could be the picture of them at the High School Musical, like, kind of like picnic thing. And she might think it's a date, and she might really feel like there's something going on, and then that's why she goes to go see Jordan. Because there's a moment in next week's sneak peek where she said, "What is going on between you and Layla, Jordan?" Oh, it's going down, guys. We're really seeing them wrapping up to their breakup, and I don't know how it's gonna go. I just feel like it's gonna be spicy, and I'm excited. I'm here for it. I cannot wait to see how this is gonna go. I don't know what because remind you, Layla was kind of talking smack on Simone in last week's previous episode of All-American. You know what I mean? She was kind of talking smack on Simone, saying like, Simone's not here. She doesn't know what you're going through with Wade Waters. I feel like when Simone's gonna come there, they might have an interaction, Simone and Layla. they might duke it out in some, some arguing. I don't know. I'm just excited to see how this is gonna go, because I don't think it's gonna go well for Jordan. As I don't even think it should, but I mean, it's kind of because I also felt like it was, again, I like I said previously, the only reason that Jordan accepted kind of like said it was okay to what Simone was doing, going with Damon and stuff to see his dad and all that, is because he's kind of doing the same thing, kind of emotionally cheating with Layla. And it seems like, he's kind of like, oh shit, I think he's gonna be like, I'm expected you to say that this is okay. You know what I mean? Because I'm helping a friend out, kind of like you were helping Damon out. I feel like I wouldn't be shocked if Jordan says that, like, oh, I said it was okay for you to help Damon out, and I'm just helping Layla out. There's nothing going on. But Simone's not dumb, and neither is Jordan dumb about what's going on between Simone and Damon. I feel like we're really rolling up where they're gonna say, like, Simone or Jordan's gonna be like, we have to admit to ourselves that this isn't working out anymore, and we've found different people, so that we can at least still have a friendship. I feel like we're gonna get to that moment, and I'm excited. I cannot wait. But yeah, guys, this was another killer episode. I think I literally hit all the bullet points. But yeah, I'm excited. I cannot wait. And yeah, I'm just excited for next week's episode. I'm also excited to see what's going to be going on in All American Homecoming, because I'm interested to see what makes Simone want to go to see Jordan. And I feel like we'll see that in tonight's episode, which, again, as you all know, for the people that watch All American Homecoming and also watch All American, and vice versa, the people that watch All American Homecoming are probably the same people that watch probably the same people that watch my All American videos. Same with other people that watch All American Homecoming probably watch my All American videos. Like, I like, whatever. What was I gonna say? I like literally just blanked right now. But yeah, like I said before, like I'm excited to see like what's gonna happen, because as you guys all know, I do reviews for All American Homecoming. I postpone them for Wednesday. So whatever happens is going to happen in tonight's episode of All American Homecoming is what's going to make, I think, Simone go to the next episode of All American. And I'm stoked. I'm excited. I cannot wait. But guys, I want to know down in the comments below, what do you guys think about the whole Asher and Spencer situation? Do you guys think Asher was right in this situation? Do you guys think, Spencer made a good point in his situation, how he was feeling? Let me know also down in the comments below. What do you guys think about, like, what do you think is going to happen in next week's episode between Jordan and Simone? Do you think they're going to break up next week, or do you think it's going to keep going for a while, and then someone's probably going to actually cheat, and then that's when it's going to break down? I want to know how do you guys think this is going to roll out? How do you guys think their breakup's going to happen? I have a feeling it could possibly happen next week, but I don't know. I feel like probably not, but who knows? It might. But I'm just excited to see where this is all going to go. Also, let me know how you guys feel about the whole, like, the moment between Carrie and Layla. Do you guys, I really do think that Carrie has, she has changed a lot, and she's bounced back from, from where she was before. So, I'm just, I'm happy that she's, that, she bounced back. So it was really cool to see Carrie, and to really, and really see that, to see how much she's changed, and to really see that conversation that she had with Layla, especially the emotional conversation, that how, like, again, like Carrie said to Layla, you saved my life, you made me reconnect with my parents, you made me be able to, be out here in society and get a job, and learn to love myself, and want to, keep moving forward and with my life. So it was just really beautiful to hear her say that, and I'm happy that that kind of book is closed for Layla, and now she can move on. I'm just really happy, and I feel like, no other person would have been able to help her through it besides Jordan, because they have that, again, because Jordan was that one person that would just not give up on, breaking down those barriers, because Layla was trying to put the barriers for everybody, but Jordan was one of those people that would not let Layla put up the barrier, and was able to help Layla through her tough time. Same, again, how Layla was only the one to really help Jordan through his tough time with all the stuff he's been going through with his confidence and stuff, and letting people step all over him. Same as how, again, Simone is helping Damon through all the stuff that he's been going on through his life with, him trying to find his birth parents and all that. And, him, and then, and also vice versa, like Damon trying to help out Simone with, whether it be with, whatever's going on in her life. So it seems like they've found their matches, and I'm just excited to see how this is all going to roll out. Because, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like this is really going to hurt. It's really going to hurt, Jordan and Simone in the end, because they're both emotionally cheating, and I feel like that's going to hurt them, even having a friendship after their breakup. This could hurt their friendship. I don't know. So I'm just excited to see how this is all going to go. But yeah, guys, that was the video. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put in notifications, like this video. I'd love to have you guys here, a part of the fam, part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And guys, we are almost to 500 subscribers. Right now, we're at 492, almost to 500 subscribers. So yet again, if you've come across my channel before, you've come across these videos before, I would just like it again. If you subscribe to the channel, put in those notifications, and like this video, I would just really appreciate it. Because not only that's my goal to get to 500 subscribers, but also I'm able to open up the community tab once I hit 500 subscribers, which I'm really, really trying to do. Also, that'd be awesome if I hit 500 before my birthday. Literally, my birthday is this Sunday. I actually turned 23, which is crazy to me that I'm going to be turning 23. But yeah. So yeah, I would just love it if that was an early birthday present, if we were able to hit the 500 and I was able to reach my goal. That'd be amazing. But yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments below what you guys liked about this episode and where you guys are hoping this is going to go. Because I'm excited. I'm excited in all fronts. Especially, I'm excited to see, like, Asher and Spencer kind of be on a rivalry again. Because I liked that a lot in the first season of All American. I loved that. And it kind of, went throughout the season of season 1 and 2, I think. Because I don't think it was over-resolved in season 1. I think it was, it kept going. I have to go back and watch All American, the earlier seasons. Because sometimes I forget about a little bit of things. But yeah. I'm just excited to see the rivalry kind of again and how we're getting that again. And I mean, Spencer made a good point. You really shouldn't be giving anybody information on us without us even knowing. You know what I mean? Because it's not cool. You know what I mean? Like that. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want this to affect our friendship, then you need to go somewhere else, and you need to like not do what you're doing. You know what I mean? I do think that Spencer was right on that, but I'm curious to know what you guys have to say down in the comments below. But yet again, guys, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next Monday for episode. I think it was episode 18. Yeah, episode 18 of All American. Peace.